Welcome to the world of exploration. Welcome to the world of learning. Let's start learning. Let's start exploring. This is your very own educator, Sukriti Joshi, ma'am. Your very own educator, teacher, philosopher, guide, mentor, friend, one and all. And this is the one-stop destination for you guys out there that is English critical to learn and to grow together, right? All right, so in today's session, in today's class, I would be teaching you guys, you, my learners, my students, I would be teaching you um, a beautiful and exquisite poem, right? Titled Aunt Jennifer's Tigers, right? And it is a profound poem which is written by a prolific writer, Adrienne Rich, right? So uh, I want you to first and foremost analyze the title and whatever interpretations or whatever uh, opinions or perceptions you have about the title, you can share that in the chat box or in the comment section so that I can, see, and then I can, give you feedback on how your responses are. And because in English literature you can have several interpretations, right? You can have a lot of interpretations because literature is about creating interpretations. It's about, being creative, right? So yeah, I want you to analyze the title first, and then we will be discussing the title and the poem, right? So let's get started. What are we waiting for? I'll just share my screen. I'll just share the sound, and then we are good to go. Yeah, we are good to go. Now, Aunt Jennifer's Tigers. I want you to analyze this title. I want you to keep the title in your mind, and while we are studying the poem, right? So we study the poem, then I'll come to the breakup of the title of the poem. So about the poet, so Adrienne Rich was born in Baltimore, Maryland, USA. She is widely known for her involvement in contemporary women's movement. So she is widely known for her involvement in, modern contemporary women's movement as a poet and theorist. So she is a poet as well as theorist. This you get, this you understand, right? So she is a poet as well as a theorist. Let me just underline it, highlight it for you guys, for you lot. And I want you also to mark it. Please keep your pens, your highlighters with you, your notebooks with you, your textbooks with you, or if you are doing it on your iPad or on your MacBook or on your phone, keep on jotting down or underlining, highlighting whatever important points I'm telling you, right? So she has published 19 volumes of poetry. And how many volumes of poetry has she published? She has published 19 volumes of poetry and 3 collections of essays and other writings. So, 3 collections of essays and other writings has also been written by Adrienne Rich. A strong resistance to racism and militarism echoes through her work. Now we get to the point, the central theme of the poem, which is this, right? I'll I'll take another color. I'll take green. This is the theme that we are going to deal with, right? So this is the central theme that the poem. So this is the central theme around which the poem revolves, right? So a strong resistance to racism and militarism. Militarism, if I talk about militarism, herein we are talking about the, the term only suggests military or a group of, men a group of men who possess power, who have authority, right? So we are talking about that, right? So a strong resistance to racism and militarism echoes through her work. That means you can, you can literally hear through the words. That's a very beautiful line that has been used, right? So the poem Aunt Jennifer's Tigers addresses the constraints of a married life a woman experiences. So what are we basically dealing with in Aunt Jennifer's Tigers is in Aunt Jennifer's Tigers, Adrienne Rich or Adrienne Rich is basically trying to address um, the constraints, the constraints, the norms, the rules, the restrictions, basically the restrictions and the regulations that men put on women in the bond of marriage. So the constraints of a married life of women experiences. So she addresses her constraints of a married life a women experiences. So whatever, you know, constraint or in it's a kind of an imprisonment for women to be in the constitution of marriage, especially when we are talking about the era when Adriana Rich was writing in. So, talking about that era, and talking about how the poem actually reflects and echoes her feelings and her opinions and her perceptions, we are going to read this poem further, and we are going to see how this central theme, which around which the poem revolves, comes into the picture, right? All right. So, now let's proceed. So before you read, what does the title of the poem suggest to you? So I have initially only asked you, uh, that what does the title suggest to you? Are you reminded of other poems on tigers? So you have already studied poems on a tiger, I believe, in your I think ninth or tenth standard or eighth or ninth standard, you have studied. There was a poem. There were, in fact, several poems that how if humans were to be caged, and how if the tigers were given the freedom to be outside, and humans to be rather caged and imprisoned, and then how would humans feel? So something of that sort was there. I don't know, because I have been teaching 11th and 12th standard, especially 12th standard. So yeah, I've always been the class teacher of 12th standard, so I know about 12th especially, and 11th. So, but they were poems, and along with it, you have to, you have to go beyond the text. You have to, there are extrapolative questions that you have to attempt. There are, you have to do additional reading as well, right? Apart from the normal reading. Now, talking about coming back to the poem, Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance across a screen, bright topaz denizens of world of green. They do not fear the men beneath the tree. They pace in sleek chivalric certainty. Now, Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance across a screen. Now, what does it refer to? What does screen refer what does it mean? What do we mean by screen? Is it like a normal screen that you have on your cell phone, or is it like a screen that you have on your TV, or is it like a screen that you have on your laptop or iPad or whatever it is? No, it is a screen. It is a panel, or you can call it a tapestry, right? So Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance across. They move across. They are, moving across uh, a panel. They are moving across a screen. They are moving across a tapestry, right? Right. So bright topaz denizens of a world of green. Now, bright topaz here symbolizes, it is symbolic. Now there are a lot of poetic devices which have also been um you know taken into account by the writer, by the poet Adrienne Rich. So uh so symbolism is one of them, alliteration is one of them, and there are many more, right? That we will be studying in our coming lectures. All right, so bright topaz denizens of a world of green. So bright topaz, it's a bright stone. It's a topaz is basically um it's a bright, it's a very bright yellow stone, right? Precious stone. It's a precious stone, right? It's a precious ornamental stone that that is known as pukhraj, I guess, in Hindi, right? So which people basically wear. So bright topaz denizens of a world of green. So of a world of green here, of a world of green is referring world of green. What could be the word? What could you actually mean by a world of green is forest, right? So because where do tigers live? Tigers live, their habitat is a forest, right? So a world of green is symbolic of forests, is symbolic of jungle, right? So they do not fear the men beneath the tree. So now we get to see that they do not, they are not, they do not possess any kind of fear. Tigers don't fear anyone. They're like, they have this attitude that we are the, because tigers are the kings of the jungle. Lion is the king of the jungle. So I mean they- all of them, they don't bother about human beings or about any person or about any individual or about any other animal. They they are just so confident, they are just so majestic in nature, they are, so royal in nature. They do not fear anyone, and therefore they do not fear anyone. Even they do so, as I've mentioned before, they do not fear the men beneath the tree. So the men who are sitting under who are, taking shelter under the tree. Suppose this is the tree, and they are, beneath the tree. That means they are under the tree, and they are taking the shelter under the tree, in order to um, hunt the tigers. But tigers, being aware about how their hunters are, you know, uh, looking for a moment to hunt tigers, but still, about knowing about this particular thing, knowing about this particular aspect, they aren't fearful. They are not fear stricken. They do not have any fear. They do not fear men at all, right? So they based in sleek chivalric serenity. So now they are, they walk. Have you ever seen the, uh, just see how tigers walk. Have If you observe them, if you observe their walk, it's very sleek and very chivalric, right? So herein, actually, there's a pun also that has been used, right? So chivalric, when I'm talking about chivalric, I'm basically referring to the age of chivalry as well. When I'm telling you about the age of chivalry, in that age of chivalry, men used to actually respect women. Men used to protect women. Men were the protectors. Men were the guardians. Men were the ones who used to provide. Men were the ones who used to protect women from any obstacle, from any hurdle, from any problem that used to arise. So they pace sleek chivalric certainty. So tigers also, they also have that chivalric attitude, right? Which men do not have. So now, from the age of chivalry, now we have come to the contemporary age, wherein we see that men no longer have any kind of morals. They no longer possess values. They no longer have that chivalric certainty, right? Which in when we talked about the age of chivalry, there were morals, there were values, there were ethics that men followed. There was a proper code of conduct that they had to follow, and that actually impressed girls. Actually, that really that girls or women really used to admire, because that was the actual way how they should have conducted themselves. But now it is no longer the same way. The situation has changed tremendously. The ages have changed tremendously, right? So, are Jennifer's tigers fluttering? Yes. So, Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance across the screen, as I have told you, that they walk across us. They basically see Aunt is weaving a tapestry. So now I told you that they walk across a screen, or they walk across a panel, or they walk across a tapestry, right? Now, what do you get understand by it? I'm not talking in like uh, I'm not talking in that they're walking in reality. See, Aunt Jennifer was basically weaving a tapestry, right? So she was weaving a tapestry, and while she was weaving the tapestry, she made tigers. And tigers, she created a scene wherein tigers were prancing across a screen while they were moving across a panel or a tapestry. So tapestry is basically when somebody is weaving something in order to create something. You must have seen the hangings, uh, especially in Indian houses. Tapestries used to be there. Even abroad, it must have been there, because we are talking about, you know, um, Baltimore. So yeah, we are basically talking about a writer who comes from uh, 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 who is basically abroad, so settled abroad. So definitely, there must also have it must have been the same kind of scenario. All right, so uh, give me a moment, yeah. Then Aunt Jennifer's fingers fluttering through her wool. So it's like Aunt Jennifer's fingers were fluttering through her wool. Now, why were they fluttering? Find even the ivory needle hard to pull. The massive weight of Uncle's wedding band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. Now, Aunt Jennifer's fingers were fluttering. Why were they fluttering? Tell me. See, initially, what did we see? That the poem Aunt Jennifer's Tigers addressed the constraints of married life of a woman, uh, right? Of a woman experiences, right? So now we get to the point that how Aunt Jennifer's fingers were, she was so fear stricken, unlike what the unlike the tapestry that she made, unlike the tigers that she had created. She was the opposite. She was in contrast to those tigers. She was the opposite of those tigers. She possessed traits that were opposite to the tigers, that were opposite, that were in contrast. uh, if you compare, that they were contrasting in nature, right? So Aunt Jennifer's fingers fluttering through her wool. So while even weaving the tapestry, or weaving, she, her fingers were fluttering, that is trembling or moving. You guys also, you lot also, you, my students also, I also, as a student, I when I had my exams, so sometimes what used to happen was, that my fingers, just give me a moment. Let me settle these things down. Yeah. So sometimes what used to happen was that, because the exam yeah, was coming, so I used to get nervous. And because I used to get nervous, and because I had an exam, I had that anxiety, my hands used to tremble. They used to flutter. So trembling, fluttering is me fluttering refers to trembling only. Through her wool, find even the ivory needle hard to pull. So herein we get to the point wherein she's even finding the ivory needle, which is again something that is um you know because ivory needle, if we talk about needle is very light in weight. You must have seen needle work, how you do the needle work. So it is very light. Does it have any weight? No, it does not have any weight, right? So it is actually acting as a kind of a thing that is hard to pull. So why is it hard to pull? Now the question arises. It is hard to pull because we are dealing with the central theme, that is oppression, that is suppression, that is oppression of the women in a marriage, that is the suppression of a woman in the marriage, the constraints of a married life, the killing of creativity in women's life, right? How you try to kill the creativity, how you try to uh, um you know curb, or how you try your best to sort of just um how you just try to sort of just curb you know the creativity, and um to belittle the woman, right? So she was finding even the ivory needle. Now herein again, ivory is the word which you need to underline. Why am I saying that? Because fingers fluttering, alliteration has been used, bright topaz metaphor, right? Again, so the usage of metaphor is there. Of a world of green, that this refers to the forest. They do not fear the men beneath the tree. They pace in chivalric serenity, the chivalric age. And then ivory needle hard to pull, right? So Aunt Jennifer's fingers fluttering through her wool find even the ivory needle hard to pull. So ivory over here, as you are aware that ivory, see elephant's tusk, you see, they are made up of they're white in nature, right? They have this ivory color, and they are, if you have seen the tusk, so uh from there, ivory, you get to the point that ivory is very expensive. It is not cheap. It is a very, therefore it symbolizes that the aspect, the social aspect, the social strata, the that have aunt actually must have come from a very a high class, right? Upper class or high class, in fact. She would have been from a rich background, right? The massive weight of uncle's wedding band. Now wedding band is like we have wedding ring, abroad they call it wedding band, which is worn in this finger, right? So the massive weight of uncle's wedding band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. So why are we again calling wedding, the that wedding band has a massive weight? How can wedding ring have a massive weight? Uh, you know, um, And how can it sit heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hands? I'm not wear that aunt is not wearing bangles, she's just wearing a wedding band, and that too on one finger. So how can it be so hard for her? How can it be so massive for her? How can it be so burdensome for her, right? So, but it still is massive. It carries massive weight. That means it is, in literary terms, we are talking about the symbolic meaning over here, the symbolic interpretation over here, which is the massive weight of Uncle's wedding band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. When Aunt is dead, her terrified hands will lie, still ringed with ordeals she was mastered by. So when Aunt is, she's gone, she's dead. Why is she dead? Because of the oppression, because of the suppression, and throughout her life she has never seen, she has only been able to be she has only been able to express herself through her art, through her tapestry, through her creation of tigers. Through that creation, she has been able to express her innermost feelings, innermost desires, her thoughts, her perceptions, her feelings, Otherwise, there was no other channel to express. So when Aunt is dead, her terrified hands will lie, still ringed with ordeals she was mastered by. So her terrified hands will lie, still ringed with ordeals she was mastered by. That means even after her death, that ring will be on her finger, and it would still, even after death, she will not be liberated. Even after death, she would be suffering because she is still having that ring of the oppressor, that ring of the master. So we also talk about master slave relationship. We also come to the point of the oppressor and the oppressed. So herein, who is the oppressed? Aunt is the oppressed one. And who is the oppressor? Uncle is obviously uncle is the oppressor. So she was mastered by, uh, sh- so still ringed with ordeals, difficulties that she was mastered by. The tigers in the panel that she made will go on prancing, proud and unafraid. So the tigers in the panel that she made will go on prancing, proud and unafraid. That means, herein we are talking about that how art actually outlives the artist. That the tigers that she created, that she has died, and she is going to suffer even after her death, because still the ring is on her finger, and the ordeals and the oppression that she had suffered, she would be suffering, she wouldn't be able to come out of it, you know because she's still in that clutch. But she's still in prison, right? But the tigers in the panel that she made, but the tigers in the screen on the screen, or on the panel, or on the tapestry that she had created, that she had woven, will go on prancing, proud and unafraid. So they will go proud, they will go prancing, that is walking steadily, proud and unafraid. So they will be proud and they will not be afraid of anyone, be it a man, be it anyone, right? So they, even after knowing that men are there in order to hunt them, they are not afraid of anyone, right? So this is how art, art lives the artist, right? And coming on to the Aunt Jennifer's Tigers, if you break it down, as I had told you, that initially in the starting of the lecture, that what do you understand by Aunt Jennifer's Tigers? So now coming on to that, if you break up the titles, Aunt refers to actually all the women out there who are uh, who have constraints in their marriage life, and the kind of experiences, the kind of ordeals that they have undergone. Aunt would be representative, aunt would be symbolic of all the women out there who are lying in a uh, in a marriage that is um, wherein the husband acts as an oppressor, and a wife has to submit, or has to be passive, or has to uh, ordain to the orders of the husband, right? And Jennifer's is basically uh, the name. And tigers, uh, again, we are talking about the tigers, the art that was the tigers, the bold tigers. The major words that come to you for Aunt Jennifer, you are supposed to write about the traits, or the personality of Aunt Jennifer, and then you're supposed to write down the traits or of the personality of tigers. So tigers are bold, uh, they're bold, they're chivalric, they are uh, courageous, they are they're not fear stricken, they're they are royal, they are uh they are mm, they are yeah, so they're royal, they are chivalric, they are sleek, they are there was this word with M. They are uh and so you have got the point that they are very, they are bold, they're courageous, they are not fear stricken, they're sleek, they're chivalric, they're uh you know they are just how they are, you know so. And for aunt, you would be using terminologies like timid, like submissive, like introvert, not introvert, but yeah, submissive, timid, um oppressed, suppressed, artist. For the tiger, you will say art, right? And yeah, for the tiger, you would say that he's a male. One important thing is that he's masculine figure. So when uh and Aunt Jennifer, being a feminine figure, she wanted to imbibe all the qualities out there that are there of a tiger in herself, and therefore she created the tapestry. She wove the tapestry uh, uh, in which tigers were a part of it, basically, in which she actually wanted to have those traits. She wanted to have that kind of personality, that kind of aura, that majestic aura, that royal aura, that chivalric, that sleek behavior that tigers have, that boldness, that fearlessness, that fears, not being fear stricken by men. That she wanted to have all those qualities in her, and that's the reason she had woven a masculine tiger, but who was not afraid of men. He was a male figure, but Yes, she wanted all those qualities, but Tiger was not afraid of men, even from men. Although he knew that they're standing under the tree in order to hunt him, but he still wasn't uh, having any sort of fear, right? So, with this, I would like to conclude and I would like to come to the end of this session. Before that, I would like to discuss denizen, a person, an animal, or a plant that lives or grows or is often found in a particular place. So, denizen is basically somebody who is actually a dweller or somebody who is living. So, where is it used? It has been used over here. Angionophis tigers prance across the screen, bright topaz denizens of a world of green. So bright topaz denizens, that is tigers, right? Bright topaz stands for the tigers, denizens, dwellers of a world of greens forest, who are the dwellers of a world of green, right? And sleek is elegant, elegant, right? So tigers were very elegant. Yeah. All right. So with this, I would like to end the session. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, right? Do like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends so that they also gain benefit and they can also get benefit out of it. And let's all learn as a community and let's all grow together as a community. So do like this video, share this video with your friends, and do subscribe this channel. Hit the bell icon and then select all. And after selecting all, you'll get notified whenever I upload such videos. For now, this is Sukriti Joshi, your very own educator, teacher, philosopher, guide, mentor, friend, one and all, signing off. All right. This is Sukriti Joshi ma'am, signing off. Bye-bye. I hope you liked my lecture. And if you have any other suggestion of or any other interpretation of Anjani tigers, do let me know in the comment section below. I'll be happy to read and I'll be happy to share it with. We should have a sharing and a loving and a caring, community, right? So let's all share. Let's all care for each other, right? This is Sukriti Joshima signing off.